for a new menopause symptom I have. I got a new one too, like you did. Right. I am currently live here on TikTok, but I'm also live on YouTube. Yes. So if you would please share the TikTok live with women of a particular age that you think need some assistance in their journey. And if you're on YouTube, share it with your YouTubers. Yes. The thing is that I sometimes I'm a little suspicious of some of the new things coming out because a lot of times people are just capitalizing on the issue at hand. You know what I mean? Well, I put so many of the holistic solutions that I used into this journal, but my vagina still works. A menopause wellness journal. This is the second. This is the second edition of the journal. It is available in the TikTok shop. I'm showing it to YouTube too. So and so there's tons of holistic solutions for tons of menopause symptoms in this journal. And one of the things I wanted to share is how self care plays such a big role in how you're going to experience your menopause. Wouldn't you all agree with that? Phytoestrogen foods, what are those? Allegedly. Yes, allegedly, because, as I said, I use most of the holistic, if not, well, all of the holistic things in the journal that I wrote about. I used them all, but I still had, issues. I still had a lot of my issues were more mental than physical. Like, what is hard to come? Marriage. Well, I made me a schedule. right? Because I can get pretty lazy about creating content. So, being that I really want to spread my message, I have to get more disciplined about, how I present myself and how often I present myself. And so I made me a schedule. And you can't read it, but I made it. I mean, try to stick to it. And one thing that I found that really helps me is if I get up and I put on some makeup, you know, and try to look cute, then I'm more inclined to post something because most of the time I'm walking around my house butt naked and just chilling. And you can't make content like that, right? Exactly. I mean, you can only do so much content that you're not talking and you're not doing anything in. At some point, you got to get in front of the camera and start talking about what you're doing, right? So, what I'm doing in this new schedule is I'm going to go live more often because I find that after I go live, I'm already in that talking mode. And so if I go live and prepare myself to go live and look how I want to look, and then after the live, I can do two or three videos and you know what I mean? Like spread them out. So I'm going to be going live more. And that's going to be on different platforms, but it'll be here on TikTok every Sunday still. And then I'm implementing Wednesday evening into my live schedule right now on TikTok. But other places, I'll put that information out because, TikTok is a very jealous app and they don't like you talking about other apps. So I'll let you know about my schedule on the other apps. But as far as TikTok is concerned, I will be live on Sunday and Wednesdays. Yes. So that's just a heads up to anybody who cares. Am I going to what? I don't know. It just depends on what hits me. I don't usually have anything to talk about except, we start talking and then stuff comes up. But I'll try to be more disciplined on that as well, picking a topic every time. So, um, one of the things that I was looking into writing a Substack about was this lake in Oregon. There's a lake in Oregon that was formed because a volcano shifted and inverted into the ground. Did y'all know about this lake? I'm trying to find my information so I can explain how this correlates to a discussion on menopause, okay? But because these things come into my mind and they're random. But okay, it's called Crater Lake. Crater Lake. And it's in Oregon. And what happened is this volcano long, long time ago. It was called Mount Mazama. It was part of the Cascade Range that in southern Oregon. Okay, it erupted catastrophically, and the collapse formed a big hole in the ground. Okay, and so the big hole in the ground, a crater, starts to fill up with water from just snow and rain. Okay. This crater is so deep, you guys, so deep that they can't even tell how deep it is. That's how deep it is. Like, and it's filled up with just rain and snow. and it never evaporates or goes away. It doesn't get water from any other lake or stream or anything. Have y'all ever heard of this crater? Okay, and the water is like crystal blue. It's even bluer than like oceans, or if you go to a coral reef, you know how, if you've ever been to a coral reef, you know how blue it is. That's how this crater is. And it's very clean because it's just self-cleaning. Like it doesn't get dirty or anything because there's nothing coming in from another lake and there's nothing leaving. It's just pure water from rain and snow that has been there thousands of years. So it was a catastrophic event that caused this crater to become something beautiful. Like it's one of the most beautiful lakes in the world. And it took a catastrophic event for the beauty to be seen. What was a terrible thing, like a volcano erupting and catastrophe and chaos, made something beautiful. And when I started looking at that, I was like, that's just like a woman that goes through menopause. She is tossed and turned, and everything starts going crazy in her body, and she doesn't even recognize her own self. After a while, things are just chaos every day sometimes. And then, and I'm speaking for myself and other women that I've seen come through this journey, they turn into something different, something beautiful, like that lake. I mean, I'm fascinated by that. What do you guys think? Girl, I want to see it too, but you can't see it right now. You can't because they're doing repairs on the trails and everything that lead up to it. You wouldn't be able to go to the water part of it until like 2029, I think. And we're going to plan a trip because I relate to the experience of the volcano. I I completely relate to the experience the volcano went through to come out on the other side something different. What do you think, Carla? Right. Would you like to visit the lake? This is destruction. Destruction created perfection. Destruction, did y'all hear that? Destruction created perfection. What happens to a woman in menopause is destruction. For some women, it is very traumatic. For me, the menopause transition was very traumatic. And when I came out of my what I call my 10-year menopause fall from 2000, wow, it was really more than 10 years if you really want to be honest about it. 2005 to 2017. So when I came out of that, what I call the menopause fog, and some of y'all are in it right now, some of y'all are in it deep. And when you will come out, that's what I want to say to women that are discouraged right now. You will come out. You will. If you feel very sad and depressed, you can come out of that. Okay. You're not going to sit there forever in that space. And you need you know, some sister friends that perhaps are going through that journey as well, so you can talk to them about it. That's in my menopause wellness journal, about, creating sister circles so that you're not alone in your journey. It's one of the important pillars of the journal. The first one being physical wellness, the second one being mental wellness, and the third being social wellness. How important is social wellness? Is very important so that you don't feel alone, because you're going to go through some mental stuff. And being alone in that is something that can get very dangerous. Right. And a lot of things are going to repeat. Like, you may conquer one part of your menopause journey, and then later on it might come back. One of those things for me was dryness. And so that made a comeback later. I conquered it and it came back. But it can be conquered again. I'm not trying to discourage people by saying it's a never ending thing, but it can be for some people. Because it's embarrassing. I mean, I get it. Like, when it first happened to me, I told Carla, but I was like, don't tell nobody. Like, like some shame, as if I caused that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some type of shame I felt immediately. Like, why? What did you do to make that happen? Or what lack of something that caused that to happen? But that's why they didn't say anything, because they were probably embarrassed and felt shame, like they did something wrong to make that happen to them. When we don't, the tissue starts to degenerate over time because it's not getting estrogen. Estrogen is what makes the tissue, elastic, moist, everything. And once that is dead, the tissue is dead. And there's nothing you can do yourself to stop that evolution from happening. It is going to happen because you're going to lose estrogen. So then you got to figure out, what do I do now? Do I just continue in life in pain when I do it, or, not do it because I'm embarrassed and it hurts? Or do you address it and do something about it? And the only thing you can do at that point is estrogen. There's no holistic ointment, nothing that's going to help that. But let's just think about that, right? So let's say you do have the money to get that surgery. Is the surgery going to make you have estrogen? No. So I think you're just wasting money. I mean, it would seem, because it's not going to do anything except for a temporary maybe tightness. I don't know. Like it. How is a surgery going to help you be moist and not vanishing? To me, I just don't see. I wish Carla would talk. She don't talk no more. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, I see. I mean, I hear something. It don't seem that loud to me. Okay. No problem if you want to be quiet. That's no problem. One thing I do want to mention, though, is that the holistic solutions in my journal do work, because I went into postmenopause in 2012. Now, what I learned is that those things that that man was talking about to women, the lips vanishing, flattening out, that didn't start happening to me until 14 years after I was in postmenopause. And from my research on it, it usually happens around year 10, or depending on the woman, it could happen even sooner than that. So, whatever age you are at the time you do not have a period for one full year, that's when it could happen. It could, right? So it could be the next day. I mean, well, that's the conclusion that Carla came to. But if you like Google to see what's so right, because and it makes sense, but when you look it up, if you look up the process of menopause, period, it says perimenopause and then menopause for one day, when you reach that 1 year mark that you do not have a menstrual cycle. And then the next day you're in postmenopause forever. And that's how they scientifically say it. But we are saying, or Carla is proposing that, hey, I don't look at it that way, because, and basing this upon my own experience, it makes sense to say that postmenopause starts years later when the estrogen is gone. It makes more sense to say it that way. Yeah. Probably some men. What did that person say that you kicked out of the room? Azure did. Oh. I don't even be seeing nothing. That's crazy. Why come in someone's live and be rude? I don't get it, but whatever. Well, would you mind explaining, Carla, what is paresthesia? I never experienced that. Isn't everything ears ringing? What the hell? Why? This is crazy because men don't go through all this. And I guess that's why they feel like we should just shut up and be quiet about it because just deal with it, right? Well, some of them do, I guess. Well, they're making those tools now for us. Are we going to try them? They cost too much. What? I did a little research. I did a little research on, things like that. And, they never talk about the outside, the benefit of it on the outside, only the inside. So, but y'all said there was a panty with some red lights, right? No, it was Claudine. That how is she me? Yeah, so the thing is that I did a little research on those shaped things, and they were used by doctors for women hysteria, is what they called it. Are you? Yes. What I'm saying is that thing that Halle Berry is selling was used by doctors on women when they were experiencing hysteria. And there was a show on Showtime called The Masters of Sex. I don't know if y'all ever had that, saw that. But it was about Masters and Johnson and the people that wrote the Joy of Sex book. That show talked about how doctors used to use those tools on women in the offices to help them with their hysteria. So that's probably why that tool was made in the first place, you guys. Isn't that funny? Did you all ever look at that show, Masters of Sex? It was Midnight Blue. Okay, I have to look it up then. The earliest tools that would like what we're talking about were medical tools for women in the late 1800s. Doctors treated a diagnosis called hysteria, which they believe caused symptoms like anxiety, irritability, insomnia, and sexual frustration. Doctors used mechanical tools to stimulate the woman to induce what they called a hysterical paroxysm. This treatment was used on adult women of many ages, including married women whose doctors believed they were suffering from nervous disorders. Menopause absolutely played a role. While the devices weren't specifically invented for menopause, many symptoms doctors labeled as hysteria overlapped with things we now associate with hormonal shifts. So they were doing this. I'm just so fascinated by this. Y'all don't seem to be fascinated like me. Like you go to the doctor, oh gosh, I'm so anxious. Do you have something to help me with that? I'm sorry, modern gynecologists sometimes recommend regular VAG stimulation because it increases blood flow to the tissue and helps maintain elasticity. So those things were made for women who were going through menopause. That's amazing to me. And, like I was saying earlier, sometimes I think that people had a more open mind back then because at least they cared about you were you were going through something, right? They knew we was going through something and they tried to do something to help because they used to also doctors used to prescribe tinctures with cannabis in it for women that were going through that. At some point it became we don't care what you're going through. And those things became something else and taboo. It's weird, right? At some point, you had an open mind about women's issues, and then it was like, oh, well, actually, we don't care. Mhm. We don't care. What are you useful for after that age anyway? Well, yeah, there was a whole era of women taking sleeping pills and stuff. Remember? Because I mean, and think about it. Remember when sleeping pills were just like all over the TV and in commercials for no dose and all these, right? And why do you think women was having so much trouble sleeping? It's because of menopause, but no one wanted to just say these are these are the things. These are the things. Well, I think that's changing a little now. And I think it's because, like you guys said, there are celebrities that are speaking now. So, it's not looked at. If you have someone of like Halle Berry and Oprah and yeah, and Jeannie Mai now, if these people are now talking a lot. So now it becomes a way to profit. Not, and I'm not saying those people that I'm not saying that they're talking about it so they can profit. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that when the outsiders look and say, "Oh, they're talking about this now. Oh, we could talk about it too and make money." That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those individuals. I applaud them for, bringing an attention to this because it should be something that we talk about. But then there are the other people, the lookers on, that will say, oh, okay, now that they're talking about this, we can make some money off of it. Hmm. The red light therapies that are now coming out. And I think it's great, but if you are trying to help women go through this journey, you must realize that every woman out here cannot afford a $495 red light therapy dildo. You should probably make it a little more affordable for some people because I could finagle uh finagle it to buy, but do I want to spend that kind of money? No. And I mean, there's so many women that could use that help that can't afford it. You need to lower the price. What the hell? A lot. It's a plane ticket. It's a car payment. It's half of your mortgage for some people. Okay. So, yeah, if you want to help somebody, but everybody got to do what they got to do, because my book, my journal, But My Vagina Still Works, is $25 in the TikTok shop. And that's affordable to me, I think. But to somebody else, they might say, girl, what are you doing? That's too much for a journal. You need to lower that price. So who am I to tell those people what they need to do? But you know what I'm saying? It's all perspective. Because somebody could say the same thing to me. You charging too much for that journal. Yeah, like we said before, writing about your experience during the journey will help you recognize patterns, and it will help you to express what's happening in your body. That is important mentally, to be able to express and grapple with what's happening. So you can write those things out. Also, what can help you with journaling is making sure that you write out which holistic approaches you try and the ones that work. And there's plenty of blank pages in the journal for you to write those things. So don't think you'll run out. There are plenty of blank pages in the journal. So I would encourage any woman that's in her perimenopause journey to go to the TikTok shop and buy this journal. It will help you in many ways to get through your journey easier. That's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. I know it can help. If you use it, it can help. I know it. Oh, look at you. Are you a fan? So we also, because we talked about phytoestrogen foods in the journal, we decided to include those foods in a recipes in Kitchen Alchemy. Kitchen Alchemy is a cookbook made with phytoestrogen based recipes to help you balance your hormones and chakras during menopause. And this is also in the TikTok shop. So go on over there and pick you up a menopause wellness journal. And for anybody that's in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, on April 19th between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., join Sacred Paws Publications at the Sunday Vendor Market in Glenarden, Maryland. We're going to be there signing books and answering questions about the menopause journey and showing video clips of my podcast. So please join us if you're in the DMV on April 19th at the Sunday Vendor Market in Glenarden, Maryland. You can go to Eventbrite and register for the event. Just look up the City of Glenarden or Sunday Vendor Market on Eventbrite. And so that's where we'll be on the 19th. And we also have the podcast that is on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon to listen to, and on YouTube to watch. And that podcast is But My Vagina Still Works, the podcast, Mental Well-Being and Lifestyle Changes. So make sure you go on over to YouTube and subscribe to the podcast. We'll be having new episodes coming out very soon. I keep saying that every week, and one day it will be true. It's going to be true this week, probably. I'm saying probably because who knows what's happening? Who knows what's going to happen in my life? It's really crazy sometimes. So, but it's my plan. And it's already recorded. I just have to edit it and put it out. That's the barrier right now. because the episode with the author of the book, The Empathy Gap is Black and White, is going to be on my podcast. We've already recorded, and we're talking about women having more empathy for themselves, how that is beneficial during the menopause journey. So stay tuned for that. It's coming very soon. And we'll be back here next Sunday and this coming Wednesday. I'll be going live. As far as the time is concerned, I'm thinking in the evening, but it could be another time. So just stay tuned for that. Does anybody have anything to add? Okay. Well, that's it then. It's been real. Thank you for joining us on this live this Sunday. And if you were hanging around on the outside and you didn't come in, that's fine too. Make sure you follow my instructions on following me on the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. Okay, look me up, BMBSW. That's where I'm at. Okay, y'all have a great Sunday and thank you for joining me again. I can't leave. I'm stuck in the live. So I was live on TikTok at the same time, y'all. So that's why sometimes I get quiet. I'm listening to the other people on the live on TikTok. But I thank you for joining me. If you sat here and watched me on YouTube, thank you. And we will be back at another time.